What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Of course, we are back. I am back. Yes, just last night we lost the game against Bayern Munich, but we keep moving. The games are coming thick and fast, and we've got another big game, and it's huge because we have to win it again. Burnley versus Manchester United at Turf Moor on Saturday night under the lights, because they gave us extra time to come back from Champions League. 8 p.m. I think it's BT Sport or TNT Sport, whatever it's called now. Huge game. Right, and like I said, it's huge for us because we have to win. I mentioned on my last video we have not won now for the last 3 games in a row. We lost to Spurs, we lost to Arsenal, we lost to Bayern, obviously, and in total now all season, like I said already in my last video as well, we played 6 games and lost 4. That is dreadful form. In the Premier League, we've already lost 3 games. Not great. And this is another away game. I don't want to be, once again, the broken record. I don't want to be repeating the same things on every video, but our our away form has actually been dreadful. It's Burnley, right? So you hope that we can shake that off, and really now is the time to kickstart our season. Now is the time to push forward and start this season with a win, because, I say start this season with a win, but start this section of the season and start moving forward and doing what we hope that the team were going to be doing from the start of the season. But we've got a run of games here where we can pick up some good points and hopefully get some serious wins under our belts, and hopefully get a bit of momentum as well, because we are in desperate need of it. Like I was saying, our away form is shocking. In the last 13 away games, we've only won 3, and that's across, obviously, over the last couple of seasons now, or this season and last season. Now, if you think back to, there was a time, I think 2 years ago, when we had Ole as the manager, and I was thinking of this because obviously Ole's come out recently with his comments in that interview where he's going on about his time at the club and what went on while he was manager of the club. While he was manager of the club, and this is not revising history, because at the end of the day, Oli had to go, right? But I'm just comparing it to our away record now. We had this away record thing with him where I think it was 29 games or something that we went unbeaten away from home, which is ridiculous. Obviously, that was partly during lockdown. I think it was 2021. And so you could say away form was kind of relevant back then because there were no fans in the ground. But we had that 29 game away unbeaten record. Fast forward to today, that was, like I said, that was almost 2 years ago, or if not 2 years ago now. Our away form has been dreadful pretty much since we lost that record. I think the last time we beat a top 6 team, I saw this earlier today when I was scrolling through Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. The last time we beat a top 6 team, or the traditional top 6 team, was back when we beat Tottenham 2-0, I think it was, and we had Cavani and Ronaldo still in the team. Then that was back in 2021, so that's ridiculous how far away our home form, our dreadful home form, has been, or how long it's been ongoing now, especially when you contrast it to just before that. We had a 29 game unbeaten run. And obviously this is just Burnley, and I don't want to be disrespectful, because obviously we're at the moment just Manchester United. We're not all that good ourselves, right? But we have to win this game. Like, there's no excuses, no compromises, non-negotiable. We have to win this game. And even saying that, I'm not necessarily expecting us to win. I'll give you my prediction, and I'll talk about Burnley properly, obviously, as I always do in these previews. But it's the way that things are going, and like I said, just you're scrolling through socials after that game yesterday against Bayern, and you're seeing how the fans are feeling at the moment, and it's a lot of fans, it seems, are in despair and saying all these players are not good enough, etc, etc. And it's very hard to disagree, because you've seen now, like I said, patterns emerging. You've seen these players are showing us that actually maybe they are not good enough, and maybe we obviously we can't bring any players in right now, but maybe we need to start changing our views of certain players. We probably think of them higher than maybe they are, but I still have faith in this team. Of course, I have to have faith in this team. I personally do believe that some of these players are good enough. We've got Bruno Fernandes in our team. We've got Marcus Rashford in the team. You've got players like this. Højlund is looking really, really good in our team. And we've got returning players coming back, hopefully, for this game. I don't know if Varane will be fit and ready for this game. You have to hope that he is, because we are missing. Somebody asked me in the comments in the last video. Shout out to you. He asked Suleiman, I think it was. He asked, "Oh, who are the three players that we want to come back into this team, or that we really are missing?" And actually, a fully fit Varane is second to none, really, in this team. What he brings to the back line is second to none. And also, that's not saying Lindelof, like I said, hasn't been decent, but Varane clearly brings something to this team that we are lacking at the moment defensively. Because the main problem for this team, I think, I think it's quite goes without saying, is the defensive. We've conceded way too many goals, and just to touch on Onana for a little bit as well. Everybody's like piling in on him at the moment because of obviously his issues since he's joined the team. He hasn't really shown us in terms of shot stopping much to kind of write home about. But he's facing a lot of shots. I think it's not actually Onana that we should be complaining about here. It's the structure of the team defensively. We're not protecting our keeper. And that's a huge problem. So I don't know if, obviously Varane was here at the start of the season. It wasn't like he has been missing for all the 5 games that we in the Premier League that we played. But it would be nice to have him back. And secondly, it would be nice to see if someone like Amrabat will be back. Or I don't think, I've seen reports that Mount won't be ready this week, but maybe Amrabat will be in the squad. So, it would be nice to just have some of these players back. In terms of a positive, over the last last couple games, let's just say, against Arsenal and against, not Arsenal, was it Arsenal? Yeah, I don't know, against, not Arsenal, sorry, against Spurs, when, what's my boy's name? Højlund scored, right? Was it Spurs he scored against? I can't even remember. But anyway, he scored and he got ruled offside. And obviously he scored now against Bayern, and that was not ruled offside. And that was, thankfully a great goal. A great goal for him to get in terms of the context of the goal, not necessarily the goal itself, but in terms of what hopefully that will bring to him confidence-wise, the hunger that he'll want to continue to score more goals. Obviously, we can see that this guy loves United. He loves the club and he wants to be successful here. So that's a huge positive for me, to see that the young kid has already got his first goal on his belt. But for the ball going out the line when Rashford passed him the ball, that's 2 goals for him in 2 games. So sorry, it was against Brighton, not Spurs or whatever. It was Brighton that we lost against, and not Arsenal. Well, we lost against Arsenal, but I'm kind of forgetting games. But anyway, but for that ball going over the line, or VAR saying it went over the line rather. Højlund is 2-2 here for goals. So it's a positive, and we need to hold on to any little positives we can get from this team at the moment. So I'm hoping, obviously, he stays in the team. You can see again against Bayern, he came off early because he can't play the 90 minutes. But he will surely be starting. And on that note, let me kind of go through my starting 11. We've got some serious midfield issues with this team at the moment, because obviously Mount might not be back. Amrabat is just coming back in. I don't think I just don't see Ten Hag throwing him into a game on his as a debut away from home. Obviously it's Burnley, but maybe he could do it, to be honest. But all I know is we cannot start McTominay unless the guy is gonna fix up. But even then, I like I said, at the end of that last game, or during that last game against Bayern, and I watched him and I said, you know what? This guy, he's not even giving his usual McTominay passion. So we can't start him. My starting 11, or my predicted 11, what I think will be played, is obviously Onana in goal. We have no backline other than Dalot, Lindelof if Varane's not back, Martinez and Reguilon, who's been amazing so far. I say, I don't want to go too overboard because obviously we've been conceding goals. So it's not as if he's been unreal, but in terms of comparatively, let's say, relative to the rest of the other players, he's been really good. So Reguilon left back, and then that midfield, because I can't right now, I wouldn't start McTominay based on his last performance, and even the game before that when he came on, he didn't give us anything against Brighton. So for me, it has to be Casemiro. Obviously, Eriksen didn't give us much either last game, but I think rather than, if Amrabat isn't able to start, like I said, I'm not playing McTominay. Possibility of playing Hannibal Mejbri. I think, actually that's a good shout. Maybe drop Mejbri in there. But I think he'll probably just go for Eriksen and Casemiro. Bruno in the 10 as always. Then our front line, I would leave Palestri in there on the right hand side because, once again, who else are you going to play, right? Unless he sticks Bruno back on the right. But going back to what I just said, we're struggling in that midfield. So I'll say Pellistri on the right hand side, Rashford on the left, and Højlund up top. Martial is looking very sharp. He looked very sharp against Bayern when he came on, and I think he's building that fitness up very nicely. So if we need him to come off the bench, I'm not worried at all. I never was about him anyway. But in terms of going forward, we need to start thinking what we're going to do here about this Martial Højlund thing, because Højlund clearly can't play 90 minutes anyway. But if Martial's looking good, mate, start starting him, to be honest. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's start winning some games first. And in terms of winning games, like I said, we need to beat this Burnley team. I've been seeing across socials, United fans are predicting a loss for United, which is nuts. This is Burnley. They haven't won a game all season, and it would just be sod's law for them to come and beat United and cause another meltdown. Now, like I said, they haven't won a game all season. They've played 4 games only because I think, their second game, I think it was, against Luton was postponed because at the time Luton was still sorting out their stadium. So they've lost 3 games in a row, and then they drew against Nottingham Forest. I think it was 1-1 to get their first points of the season. Just Monday, just gone. And even then, I think Nottingham Forest should have won that game. Really, I didn't watch much of it, but from what I saw, Nottingham Forest should have probably won that game as well. So, and overall, Burnley have conceded a lot of goals. They've only scored 2, maybe 3 goals, or maybe more actually. Let me just check. So Burnley. Okay, cool. So Burnley they lost 3-0 to City. They lost 3-1 to Villa, 5-2 to Spurs. And then they drew 1-1. So they've scored 4 goals but conceded 12 goals, right? 12 goals if I counted that right. But it just would be United not to give these guys their first win, wouldn't it? Like it is possible, but I have to say I can't see it happening. I have to see this team come out fighting, come out strong from the last game, and show some character, start building some momentum, because we've got. Like I keep saying, we're in the pits, so we need to build some momentum and start getting some wins. And it's a much needed win. We need to pray that this team can get us a win. One, I guess, positive is that this is obviously Burnley. They're missing their top scorer. He scored 2 goals, but Lyle Foster, I think he got sent off against their last game, Nottingham Forest. So he's missing. But like I said, we should be beating these guys, and that is not to be disrespectful to Burnley. They've just come up into the Premier League. They are, like I said, struggling to even get points. They've only got 1 point this season. We should be beating these guys. So please don't give us any stress, United boys. Let's just get the W and just move on. Just steal a win. I don't care how we do it. It would be nice to get a really nice performance in. I think a lot of people will kind of take it with a pinch of salt anyway, because they'll be like, oh, where was this against Bayern, or where was this against so and so. But let's just get a win anyway. I don't care about all that. Give me the 3 points and let's keep it moving. My predicted score for this game is a very pessimistic, I think, for me anyway. 1-0 win, Get in there, score a goal, get out with the 3 points. That's all I want. It's unlikely if you look at obviously how much they've conceded in 4 games. They conceded 11 goals, right? Or 3 games they conceded 11 goals. So you'd hope that we'd score a bag of goals against them, but they're at home. They might be able to get their crowd behind them. But like I said, 1-0 win. I'm happy. Let's go. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are we going to beat Burnley? Is it going to be an exciting game? Probably not, but I don't care. I'm here to tell you right now, I just want a W. Anyway, thanks for watching the video as always. Drop a like on the channel, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, see you on the next one, which will be a W, a win, a post-match review of a win against Burnley. Let's go.